Are you craving an adrenaline rush? How about leaping out of a plane? Or bungee jumping off a bridge? What about a challenge that doesn't require any safety gear? Think you could dive off this cliff? This is your body on high diving without any training. Jumping from a great height into water could be exciting and dangerous, depending on the height and the location. You could high dive off a diving board, cliff dive, or even try Norwegian death diving. But how high is too high? And what dangers would you face? The higher you are, the more important it is to do it correctly. The greater the height you jump from, the faster you hit the water. Makes sense to me. If you were to attempt a 6-meter dive, you would hit the water at around 40 kilometers per hour. At this speed, if you don't position your body correctly, you could break your bones, compress your spine, and suffer a concussion. But at half that height, your impact speed would go down to 27 kilometers per hour. Still, enough to damage a car. Hitting the water could feel like hitting concrete if you don't position your body correctly. Ouch! From this height, belly flops are a no-no. But if flopping is your thing, you might be better off as a Norwegian death diver. But we'll get to that later. So, how can you high dive safely? Well, the best practice is to dive with your hands clasped over your head. That will break the surface tension and part the water around you. Straighten your body like an arrow and tuck in your chin. Keep your arms raised over your head and against your ears. This will protect your ears from the water pressure. Once you're underwater, exhale through your nose immediately to keep from accidentally swallowing water. That's it. Okay, let's go a little higher this time.
Not bad.
If you dive off a 10-meter platform, by the time you hit the water, you'll be going at a speed of 64 kilometers per hour. So, how high could you go? Well, the highest dive from a diving board is 58.8 meters. That record was set by Lazaro Lasso Schaller in Switzerland in 2015. He trained for months. Higher than a 10-meter Olympic diving platform, and you could cause serious damage to your wrists, arms, head, and neck, even if you make a perfect dive. From extreme heights, you'll have to go feet first. In this case, point your toes and keep your body straight like a pencil. Make sure to stay rigid and squeeze your legs together right before you hit the water. This will reduce any surface tension when you collide. The World High Diving Federation recommends that you should never dive from 20 meters or higher unless there are professional rescue scuba divers in the water. From that height, you'll need them. Okay, so you've tried high diving into a pool and you're still alive. Good job. Now, how about jumping off a tall cliff? Well, first thing you'll need to do is make sure the water you're jumping into is safe. Is it deep enough? Are there any obstacles under the surface that you'll need to avoid? Another thing to consider is how cold the water is. Cold water will cause more stress to the muscles upon entry. And if you're jumping into the ocean, the impact of salt water is a lot harder because it's denser than fresh water. If you were to compete as a cliff diver, you'd be diving from heights of 18 to 26 meters. Professional show divers in Acapulco typically jump from 45 meters above the water. Injuries are pretty standard, even for the pros. A 2015 study found that professionals training for the sport had 8 injuries for every 1,000 hours of diving. And in 2017 alone, there were 16 cliff diving deaths in the United States. But even non-fatal injuries can be life-changing. A woman who jumped off a 25-meter cliff in Colorado had to be airlifted to a hospital with a severe concussion and a bloody nose after belly flopping into the water. 5 years earlier, Kelsey Lineweber did the same thing. Years later, she still had difficulty sitting or standing for a long time. Okay, if cliff jumping isn't your thing, you could always try dodging, the Norwegian sport of belly flopping. It's also known as death diving, for good reason. Divers jump from a 10-meter platform in an open X formation and curl into a ball immediately before hitting the water. Whoever stays in the flat position the longest wins. Oh boy, that's gonna hurt. So if you're looking to try any form of high diving, be sure to get the proper training first. And if heights are your thing, how about free climbing? Well, that sounds like the challenge for another episode of Your Body On.